You're back!
Last year, I started to run in Salomon Future Team, but then COVID came and everything was cancelled. So it was only the Golden Trail Championship that actually happened.
The 4-day stage race features specific segments within each stage.
Yes, that's right. We have an uphill, a downhill, and a sprint segment for each stage, all counting towards an overall ranking for each segment.
The segments made the competition just so much more spicy. You had the established runners racing for the overall title, but then you had specialists coming in who'd save themselves to race as fast as they could their segments. And the people at home absolutely loved it.
Anna Cufer absolutely smashed the downhills this week. She is the overall winner of the downhill segment.
I won the downhill, but it wasn't my goal. My goal was to be good at overall ranking. So this year I have a chance to prove myself that I'm not only good on downhill, that I can do better on overall ranking, and that's my main goal for this season.
Iris Pessey, aka the Uphill Queen, surely delivered and crushed the uphill segments all week.
I came to those championships with one goal in mind. It was to hammer every climb and get the uphill segments. Most times I had to stop at the top and then have a breather, have some water, have some food, seeing the other girls pass by again. But that didn't matter because that was just mission accomplished.
Everyone's really wondering whether the segment winners can compete over a whole race. So far, they've saved themselves for the up or the downhill, but to win these races, you need to be good from start to finish. And it remains to be seen whether they have the abilities in both the up and the down. Can they podium? Possibly, but they're going to have to learn fast. There's been major changes in Scott in 2020. Ruth Croft, who won the Golden Trail World Series in 2018, left to join Adidas. So then there was a huge hole in the team. And that allowed racers like Iris Pessey, who was the upward segment winner, to join and try and fill that gap.
So I've moved on from the sort of like an ambassador level with Scott in France to the international team. And I know the expectations are bigger, but from the international team, I don't feel much pressure. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, I've never seen someone so, I don't know even how to say it, but I always tell people that she's like a Duracell bunny. It's crazy. She has so much stamina and energy. I've never seen something like that before. And even sometimes it's too much. She doesn't know it.
In March, I had a tendonitis in my right hip, which didn't heal, and I had a lot of pain no matter what I was doing. So I completely stopped exercising for a while. And then I restarted running right before Ola del Nuria. And no matter if I ran or not, it wouldn't get better or worse. So I decided to race and see what happened. I was like, well, I need to race, and if it make it worse, well, my season is pretty much done if I don't race anyway, so I might as well try, and if I break myself, well, I just finish myself. The wait has been way too long already, so I'm just gonna go for it and hope that, you never know, sometime you've got a good race out of nowhere. And I've got nothing to lose, so I'm just gonna fake it until you make it, as we say.
This year, I would love to finish the last race at top 10, but I know that this goal is like, I don't know if it's reachable, but I will do my best to try to reach it. And yeah, at the end, what's the point to have low goals?
We have only 2 women in the international team with Maud and Judith, so we are searching for new girls coming in the team, and of course if Anna is doing a super good result this year, we will be super happy to invite her in the international team in 2022.
Yeah, this year it was very hard for me. The work for college was online, so it was hard because I had a lot of projects with other people and it was very hard to communicate. I was working from 6 o'clock in the morning till 1, 2 in the morning. So, and in between I went for a run for 1 or 2 hours, and it was very hard for me to be concentrated because I was tired of training and doing all the work for college. But it's funny because at the end of May, I didn't have problem with that anymore because I was so stressed that I was awake all the time.
Iris is starting the season injured, and Anna has been spending a lot of her time studying for college, so neither of them are in prime condition for the first race. But you need to be performing at the highest level from the very first race, so whether they're injured or not, it's game on.
My name is Bailey Kowalczyk, and I work with Solomon North America. For me, I feel like I'm throwing myself into the deep end, the pool of the most competitive athletes in the world, and I think if I can prove that I can hang with those top 10, then it definitely puts me more on an international stage rather than just being a solid American athlete. I don't know exactly what that looks like as far as the international team, but it would be really awesome to represent Solomon on an international level as well.
Bailey is super motivated. She's training hard, and she's really focused to perform and to succeed, you know, and we are expecting a lot from her because she really has this kind of, you know, movement that she will succeed today or tomorrow, but she will.
Anna and Iris have both decided to miss Mont Blanc to give them time to recover for the Dolomites run instead. Anna's fully aware that if she wants to be in the Salomon international team, she's going to need to qualify this year. She might get the opportunity in the future, but actually, when your opportunity comes, you need to take it. Bailey's already coming through from America, and she's going for that place, so we could actually see them both competing for one place in the team. This could be a rivalry that's decided this year and ultimately decides their long-term future.
Welcome back to the Golden Trail World Series. The Mont Blanc Marathon is on.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a year of firsts, actually a few years of firsts, and that excites me. I know I can handle it, and my training adds up to being able to do really well here. My plan is, as long as everything goes well at Mont Blanc, my plan is to do everything in my power to get into that top 10. And if I'm in a competitive spot for this series, then I'm all in, and I'm not gonna stay in America and watch the rest of it. So I was running around 9th and 10th position for most of that first half, and then when we kind of started going back uphill, I lost a few positions, and then we spread out so much in the woods that I never gained them back, which was kind of a bummer. But yeah, that last climb was really challenging. The competition in these races is deep. I'm really impressed, but I also love it, and I think it keeps me well challenged. I'd say that the competition out here is deeper than in America, just looking at numbers of how many girls are performing at that high of a level. I'm really proud of today. I think that I'm not entirely sure exactly where that puts me in the series, because to me, I feel like I should have been top 10th in order to be really at that super competitive level. So I'm a little, I feel like I have to do a little research now to see where exactly I am and what that looks like for the third race of the series.
Well, Bailey decided to quit the series. I think she realized that the level is pretty high and it will be difficult to finish in the top 10 overall ranking. So she decided to qualify through the Golden Trail National Series and try to be part of the final of the Golden Trail National Series in Azores. And I really hope that she will be back next year with a strong motivation again.
This is my strength training because, gear is expensive and my boyfriend is not.
Anna's now completed her studies, which hopefully has given her more time to train. And we've now come to the third stage, which seems to be the stage for the rookies. Dolomites has a huge uphill and a huge downhill, both of them technical. And so this is the head-to-head we've been waiting for. Who's going to be better, the segment queen of the up or the down? And if Iris has a lead by the top, how big a lead will she need to stop Anna catching her up?
And welcome back to the Dolomites Run. And Pau, we have a last-minute race update.
Yes, Martin, Pisboye has been closed due to bad weather, so the runners will now take a slightly shorter alternative route.
You know that Pisboye is not happening?
What?
They cut it.
You're kidding?
No, I'm serious.
But when did they
the race
announce?
starts at 9 and they cut just the
At 9?
Pisboye. Yes.
Not at 8.5?
No.
You're shitting me.
No, I'm serious.
But I didn't get any message. How do you know that?
At the start of the race, it was just complete mayhem. People didn't really know what was going on. They'd already pushed back the start time, but then there were rumors about how far it was going to be. At one point, it looked like they were taking so much of the top off due to the weather that it might reduce the race by up to 7 kilometers. So for these athletes, with 15 minutes to go, they would suddenly have to change all of their strategies and their expectations. It turned out the race itself wasn't that different, but psychologically, they'd had to change twice, and that meant some runners just didn't have the energy to be able to compete properly.
My recovery is actually going much better. I feel more confident with my abilities to run, and I can now train properly, which is a big change. I think I need to be a bit smart in the sense that a race like Sunday, my strength is obviously running fast uphill, but if you get cooked in the downhill, you can lose so much time.
My strategy is it's quite simple, not to lose too much time for the uphill. Because I know I can be fast in the downhill, but if the gap will be too big at the top, there's no way. Maybe I can gain a couple of minutes, maybe, 2-3 minutes in the downhill, but definitely not more. So the gap at the top cannot be big.
Ola De Noria, she really missed a good opportunity because the profile was very good for her. And Dolomites, it's also a very good profile. Okay, the uphill is difficult for sure, but she can catch a lot of girls in the downhill. It's very technical, it's quite long. You need really to pay attention to every step where you will put your feet. And this is what loves Anna. So I really hope that she will be able to reach a top 10 on this race.
Come on, Anna, keep it going.
Not my day.
Downhill's coming. Chin up, come on.
When I arrived to Paso Pordoy, there was my boyfriend, and I was seriously thinking to drop out. But then he said, okay, you can drop out, or you can continue and do your best, and you still finish, even though this will not be the result you wanted. And I did that, and it was hard, but I went slowly, and then I reached the top of the climb. I will be happy if I finish.
Yeah, sure.
Happy with the first part of the race, but I was a bit worried about the second part because I knew the downhill is usually where I suck, and I really tried to stay focused and stay positive, and even if I crashed, even if I lost places, even whatever happened, I needed to keep on pushing forward, and that's what I tried to keep in mind. And what I told myself before going down, I was like, Iris, just stay in your race and keep on pushing whatever happens around you.
The downhill in Dolomites is wild. You've got a choice. You can follow the path, but if you know it well, you can cut straight down the mountain. It's dangerous, but boy is it quick.
Top 5. Yeah, are you enjoying it?
The finish line, the end of the race was really, really hard because it was really tight and there was a spot right in front of me, so I had to push until the very, very end. And that last section, I was in a lot of pain. I had blisters all over the inside of my feet.
Thanks.
When I crossed the finish line, I just broke down a bit emotionally, but in a good way. I was feeling really just emotional, but also satisfied, but also a bit frustrated about the downhill. It was a mix of so many feelings, but I knew I needed a top 10 and I did it, so that was good for me.
Today's result has given Iris one more chance to qualify, but from now on, she's going to have to do every race to perfection, or else, well, she's out. For Scott, they've got a good result, and that's the confidence they showed in her. But they want more of that, plenty more.
This is the race. I wanted to do well of all of the races, but I think I was happy. I didn't drop out, but I think I was sad because I don't know why my legs were so heavy. I think because I trained well and everything was good before the race. So I have no idea what happened. So I think because of that.
Anna seems to be really struggling. We don't know where her form is this season. And she's going to have to do some of the longer races if she wants to qualify. So she's going to have to take some risks in her training and the way she races.
5 years ago, when I came to college, it was very stressful for me to handle everything. And I'm a bit of perfectionist. And I wanted to party a lot, to have good grades, and to train a lot. So my sleep was a mess. So 2 years ago, my sleep was very bad. I think it was like I didn't sleep for days. And I was keep telling to myself, it will get better, I will fix this. I didn't want to face it with that problem. But when you see that you cannot function properly and do things you want to do and have energy through the day, it sucks. And then I decided to get help. And then I went to the doctor and they said that it's insomnia and it's not the stress anymore. It's the fear of not sleeping. So now I'm trying to deal with that fear. And it's interesting because I really don't have any fear. And I want to do things that scares me in, I don't know, physical way. And that was the hardest part for me, to accept that something this easy can paralyze me. Oh, shit. Okay. And it's so fucking stupid because before that, I could sleep fucking everywhere. I could sleep on the floor. I could sleep after the parties. I slept on the fucking wall, everywhere, and no matter what time of the day. So that's why this is so hard for me to accept, because I was the best sleeper in the world, okay? The best. And it's amazing how how can you fuck up your body if you don't listen to it, really? At the beginning, I had no idea where I belong, and I was thinking, so you were asking me question, do you like to be a professional athlete? And I didn't know the answer. I was thinking, maybe it would be good to be, but now I'm sure I'm not good enough to be. I don't train enough to be, and I don't even have a desire to train that much, only running, because I like everything else. And I just don't like having a plan of trainings, and on a day you need to rest, not going outside when it's a beautiful day. So that just, it's not for me. But I'm very happy that I tried, that I know now I really don't want to be a professional athlete.
And are you excited for your first time up on the Pikes Peak Marathon?
I am, yeah. Should be fun.
Bailey had 2 races under her belt and then headed back to America, hoping to do Pikes Peak to have 3 scoring for the series. But Pikes Peak was cancelled for the World Series due to Corona. She still raced it though, and she raced Broken Arrow, which counted towards the American National Series, qualifying her for the finals of the National Series, which, if she does well in, could see her return to the Global Series. For some reason though, she's not going to Azores. It's all paid, it's the opportunity, but yeah, after all of that, she's not even giving herself a chance of coming back next year, and I can't explain it.
Maybe she compete too much this year and she feel tired, and she don't want to get injured, so we can understand that, of course. On the other hand, the top 3 men and women in the Azores will be invited next year to take part of 3 races of the Golden Trail Championship. So that's an opportunity that she will miss. And yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully she will be back next year.
Welcome to the Azores for the final of the Golden Trail National Series.
And Janelle Links from the US of A winning stage 1 on Pico Island.
And again, winning 2 races back-to-back, Janelle Links takes the win of stage 2.
Janelle Links, coming in 2nd place on stage 3, still manages to win the overall National Series final. She has her ticket for next season's Golden Trail World Series.
I try not to look too much at the overall standing because I want to focus on each races, but I think I'm somewhere around 28th. The plan from now on, as I've said before, is not to think about the overall and final, but it's always in the back of your mind, obviously, and I just want to finish my season strongly. I think it started quite poorly and then it went better and better and better, and I want to see how much better it can get.
Chiemgau is an absolute deciding stop for us, for the Scott team at the Golden Trail World Series. And Iris and Fred, they haven't really performed that well in the past or in the running season. So if they really want to compete well and qualify for the finals, they need to step up and achieve some points. They need to show what they're capable of doing.
Once I reach the top, I try not to lose too much time in the downhill, but not push too hard so I wouldn't trash my legs. And the last section is really runnable, and I was with that German girl who raced the marathon in 2:26 or something ridiculous, and she absolutely trashed me there.
But the good thing is that they're not fat. There's still a big climb.
Are they looking tired?
Some of them, yes, some not.
By starting too slow, I felt like I never find a good rhythm. I was either going a bit too hard or a bit too slow and very irregular. But I ended up catching a few girls again and ran down to the finish pretty much knowing the result won't change. So it was pretty hard because I knew I had a big gap in front and a big gap behind. So I just let it roll. And that's why I think I was a bit frustrated at the finish. I was like, Iris, this is not the way you usually race. You usually push yourself a bit harder than this. But at the same time, if I pushed myself harder, maybe I would have blown up and be even worse. It's hard to know, and that's why I struggle with these days. I don't think this is my kind of race.
Iris Pessey from Team Scott has had a strong season so far. She's had 2 7th places. And that, on the face of it, seems like it should leave you in a good position to qualify top 11. The way the system works, though, is first, second, and third get far more points than everyone else. And the podium has changed so many times in this season that when you look at the top 3 results, actually, if Iris gets another 7th, because other people have had podiums, she's going to be knocked out. So she's in quite a tough position coming into the last race.
The month after I quit the job, then I felt like, well, this is the best training month I ever had.
What a start of the season for the Norwegian runner.
They've both quit their jobs to perform better at the Golden Trail World Series. And better performance means more money, which can make up for the salary you're missing out on.
I'm back.
It's never that easy on Golden Trail. Guess who's coming? Fred Tronchan.
Only a few knew about his achievements in orienteering, but clearly nobody could have predicted the French orienteering Fred Tronchan would take the win on this first stage of the Golden Trail Championship.
You're competing against the best athletes in the world, so of course, I would like to see them kicking ass.
I can't wait to see him coming back to his best level soon.